How's it going? So,
Chloe Shipman, 211061.
Cool.
And this is my final evaluation for Fringe.
Amazing. So, where did it all start, Chloe Shipman?
Well, where it all started was we was assigned to do a Fringe show for our final project. It was a collaborative project. And we was assigned partners, and in my show I was part of a duet with my peer. And so what we thought the idea was, it's just a duet, and from the beginning I thought this might be a bit difficult. So what we did first is we sat down together and we created a mind map of what we could do, and we had ideas of doing a bit more of a comedy sketch, as this is what me and my peer most felt comfortable in. But then overall we read through all the ideas we had, and we finally decided to do something about men and women. This was the original idea. So how men and women were seen throughout the years, and this would include the fashion, the music, the dances in it. So that was our original idea.
And did you have any ideas before that? Or?
Some of the ideas we had before it, we had to just create some comedy sketches just to entertain the audience.
Right, okay.
Just like you see on TVs and just sketches like that, but then we decided we'll go a different pathway.
Okay, alright. So, what were your ideas / intentions with the project?
The ideas and intentions, once we had our idea, we decided we wanted to create an educational piece, which is to educate the audience on how things have changed throughout the eras. We also wanted it to make it a bit more comical, so the audience weren't getting so bored, let's say, as I felt making it comical was better than just doing an educational piece on its own.
Okay. What research did you use?
What research we did is, after we decided to do the four main, how men and women were seen, the job roles, how fashion had changed, how dance and song has changed, three then. We researched the fashions from the 1940s to 2000s, and how fashion has changed throughout that. Then we also researched the dances, which included the waltz, rock and roll, street dance, disco, and contemporary. And then we also researched the job roles in the 1940s compared to now, which in the 1940s it was a lot of the women doing the housework and the men going out doing the jobs. So we had to research that so we could have true facts to educate the audience.
Alright, cool. What people influenced you? Artists.
The people that influenced us, and it was also the artists as well, as when we researched the songs throughout in them eras, we read a bit more on the artists as well. Let's say the Bee Gees for the disco.
Yeah.
So we read when the most popular songs in that era, which it was Staying Alive. So we researched when that song came about, so it fitted into the same era. So, and also the same with fashion, when the bikini came about as well, which we based that on. And that how that was a fashion walk in, I think it was, don't quote me on this, I'm really sorry, either the 1946 or the 6th, something like that. Anyway, so we researched that so we could put that into our piece so it was true facts and not just made up.
Alright, cool. Next topic, how did tutors and peers provide influence on your early ideas?
Well, once we had the idea, me and Lewis, overall, we then spoke to our peers and our tutors and asked if this would work. And from our tutors, they say it is a good idea as it's only a duet, and it would be good to add a bit of a comedy side to it. As when we did this bikini scene, explaining the bikini came about, we did the Barbie Girl song after. The original idea was the guy to be in the bikini, to make it more comical, but also to educate it. So the same for my peers, as it would better to add a bit more comedy in it instead of just make it educational.
Did your planning cover all eventualities?
In the original planning, when we did our planning timetables, I didn't think my peer would let me down, because unfortunately in the second week he didn't show up to any rehearsals for 2 weeks, so I was on my own for a week and this really let me down. So I eventually managed to get another peer to fill in for him, but the planning didn't cover this, but luckily the person who stepped in was very, very determined to do it with me, so we all got done. So unfortunately the plan didn't cover all eventualities, as I didn't really think my peer would just not show up and let me down. So unfortunately that one, it was not.
So during that week, you did you not get a lot done, basically?
During that week...
You're just looking for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
During that week, it was just mostly research and planning what I'll do for next week, which was the next week I got a peer to come in, and I planned that out during that week.
Do you feel you did the best you could in that week, considering your
considering I was on my own
situation?
I did, because I got everything I did that I could possibly do on my own. As I didn't want to change what the piece was about, so I planned how I would teach the new peer in time, and I planned that out every day, and luckily we managed to get it done.
Okay. Did you manage to complete your project objectives?
The original objectives was to entertain and to educate the audience, and I feel that this is what I did, because we managed to fit everything I managed to research, we've actually fitted into the piece, which is all the fashions throughout the era, all the dances from the 1940s to 2000s, so I did feel that I did do that. And if I could go further with it, I would have added different stuff in the eras for, let's say, like makeup and stuff like that. I would have done.
Okay. So how committed were you to getting strong results, do you feel?
For this, as it was an individual project, and it was very down to us, you know, to get the grade and everything, I felt that I really wanted to get strong results, as this was able to show what I could actually perform and what my strong points were. So I was very committed to it, even though there was a lot of stuff that happened throughout it.
Setbacks. How did you use your increasing knowledge base to help move forward with your ideas and predict new areas for future exploration?
Well, this is a lot to do with my research, as the research I did influence my final show a lot, as in the fashion. If I didn't research different fashions, I wouldn't know what to show the fashion in the eras. So a lot of it was research, and all that research influenced most of my piece.
And for future projects, do you think you'll use the research or the knowledge you've gained?
I do, because, and as well, the knowledge I've learned, that as one of my peers let me down, which I thought was a very good peer personally, but unfortunately let me down. So I will use this in the future to learn that I need to prepare for this in the future, as it may happen again.
Okay. How effective was your research in terms of depth, relevancy, and relevance and variety relevancy?
I feel like I could have done a bit more research, but from what I needed to research, I feel like I did it very well. But some of the songs that I chose to do the dances with the eras, they didn't come about in that time, but I felt it was a good rhythm to put it to.
Right.
So I wanted to show during that how the past eras can also meet up with the current eras, like the 2000s, which were in, let's say. But I could feel that I could have done it a little bit more. But I think the variety was different as I went to the websites and different stuff like that, and read leaflets, sorry.
Describe the part of your research that became most relevant and explain why.
Which one? Oh, sorry. Have you just done that one?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I just did that one. This one's different.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Right. What was most relevant was the bikini, as I didn't know anything about when the bikini came about, what the bikini used to look like, and from my research I learned that it was quite high shorts, and that it wasn't liked as much, as most of the beaches did ban it, and I didn't know this, so I kind of put that into my piece as well. Also the fashion side, as I researched all the fashion for the areas I needed to, is I didn't know, let's say in the 60s they wore hipster kind of acid face t-shirts, and I didn't know this, so I needed to research that. And as well, the dances, is I don't know all the dances throughout the eras, and I learned that in the 50s it was very rock and roll, and come 2000s it was more modern contemporary. So if it weren't for the research I did for that, I wouldn't know what to put in my piece.
Do you think you gained some knowledge on women's history and like feminism because of this?
I did, as I researched, let's say when the bikini came about, I researched the opinions on how women felt, and women felt very, how can I explain it, justified is the word?
Strongly for it, yeah.
Yeah, they felt very strongly for it, but they also didn't like the fact that men were a bit, was a bit...
Telling them what to do.
Yeah, a bit telling them what to do, a bit against it. They didn't like that, but the men, this is the first time how they saw legs, that, you know, women didn't really wear shorts or anything like that until the bikini came about.
How did your ideas change and what influenced that change?
Well, as I was saying, my original pair did leave and I had to get a new pair in that, I didn't want to change my ideas in the piece, but I felt my new pair was, let's say for the dancers, was able to do a lot more, as in lifts and everything. So I was able to add a bit more to the actual piece in the end. So this influenced me to change by getting a new pair.
Right, okay. Was there any technical or logistical issues?
At the beginning, there wasn't much issues, as the lighting I had in mind did fit well with what I wanted. It was quite a basic set, but the only thing I felt that would be a bit of a struggle is there was that many costume changes. It was needed to be rehearsed a lot, but in the rehearsals, the costume change didn't work as well as I thought, but luckily, in the very end piece, it did work very well.
If there was an issue in the final product of a costume change, did you have any plans to cover that?
What we did in the last week of rehearsals, I actually managed to gain someone else, so it was, in the end, it was 3 people. But for this, the other pair was stood behind helping us get into costume changes. So we thought if one of us got stuck in a costume or anything like that, then we can get that pair to come out as well. And I had to improvise a bit or come in the original costume that was meant to come out in.
Did you have enough time to make the actual...
No. I feel like we didn't, for the sheer fact how I did miss a week and a half from what my original idea was. But even if I did have my original paint, it went well, I still feel personally that I did not have enough time to do what I wanted to do.
Okay. Discuss the outcome in terms of its effectiveness.
The effectiveness of the piece, I felt it did go really well, as it was to entertain and to educate. So I felt that came across a lot, as the audience was laughing, and I also asked the audience after if they did learn anything, and they learned the different types of fashion and the different types of songs that were throughout the eras, so I felt that worked.
And do you think the technical qualities, I know you said you only had basic lighting, but do you think that went...
Well, I felt from what I had, it was actually very effective, because for each song and dance, I changed the lighting to match the type of dance it was. So like disco would be very flashing lights, and contemporary would be quite subtle and white lighting, so I felt this did add a lot to it.
And what about the aesthetic qualities?
Well, as there was a lot of props to it, and I felt this added a lot to the actual piece to make it more realistic, as I wanted to do it more Stanislavski, let's say. So it was more natural and believable to the audience, so I felt the props did work really well.
It's fitness for purpose and communication as well, the effectiveness of that.
Does that mean what I was trying to get towards?
Yeah, what you were trying to...
Yeah, like I just said, I feel like it did work, as it was to educate and entertain, and the feedback I got from the audience was that.
Okay. How did you respond to the feedback you have received, whether positive or negative?
Any feedback I got back, I did take into consideration. One feedback was to learn the dances more and work on the timing. So what me and my peer then did is to go away and rehearse it as much as we could, just so it fitted in time, so it looked professional. And the feedback we did get good is we still kept on working on that to keep it as good feedback. But either way, we did just keep on working it and take everything into consideration.
Do you feel the final piece communicated the concept or idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Given the opportunity to repeat this assignment, what would you have done differently?
The thing I would have done differently is to be more prepared in case of something may happen, as in my original peer did drop out and not turn up to rehearsals, because let's say in the bigger world, if this happens and you are getting professionally paid for it, you need to be prepared, even if you have to go on stage on your own. So I'll just be more prepared for it.
And more prepared in general, do you think, for future performances?
Say again.
More prepared for future performances as well, do you think?
Yes,
in
yes,
case something
100%.
like happens. What did you get from the experience?
Well, I actually learned what it was like to be part of a fringe show, as it was just doing, you know, no one would judge you for doing what you was doing, and it just shows what you're good at, and that's what I enjoy, just doing what I prefer to do. But I just actually understood what fringe shows were like, and I quite enjoyed it.
Enjoyed the independence.
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.